Hello everyone, welcome to the fourth episode of Sec Talk with Rohit Srivastwa. This week, not in office, I am in Bangkok for some cert related activities, and I said, okay, I'll do the recording from Bangkok. So I'm doing this from my hotel room, some time in hand. So I said, let's do the recording from here. This week, we will start with some interesting and funny news. The very first one, how can we forget cryptocurrencies? So let's start with some crypto news. There are a lot of malwares and ads or malicious ads these days which are focusing towards using the browser to steal bitcoins and other cryptocurrencies for that matter, and doing a lot of crypto jacking, as we say. But I'm sure if you are dealing with cryptocurrencies and stuff, you are smart enough and you know how to handle them properly. Second is Natalia Kaspersky has a conspiracy theory where she says the cryptocurrency, primarily the Bitcoin, is brainchild of American intelligence agencies, and they want to use it for quickly transfer the fund from one agency to another and do all intelligence related stuff. That's not the funny and the interesting one. The best one there comes out that some people have claimed, or there's a conspiracy theory around that cryptocurrency is a work of a rogue AI bot. And I saw that video, and I'll put the link of the video somewhere. It says cryptocurrency algorithm was suddenly created and it's a flawless algorithm, and some people found a few bug in that. They found the bug, and when they were going to exploit it, or when they were trying to exploit those bugs, the bugs were automatically getting fixed, and it's a work of AI. Human cannot be that smart, or whatever the conspiracy theory is. What they have added is if it continues, the bot would, or the AI bot will have connections to a lot of PCs across the globe who are doing mining for the cryptocurrencies, and that can be used for something very, very bad in coming future. Interesting. Let's see which side this all conspiracy theory goes, and it will be coming every week, so let's keep having a fun around that. Talking about fun, there was a very funny and interesting news. I thought I'll name the section of the podcast as WTF, or what the fun, the what the fun. So one of the fun news is the Danish municipality leaked a lot of citizen data which was kept on an unauthenticated FTP server, and they didn't had any log for that, so just they took media to ask the citizens, have you unauthorizedly downloaded the data or not, and have you copied the sensitive files from the server. Very cute, very funny. Thank you asked it so well, and people would reply to it. Okay, now moving towards the serious news. The first one here we have is about Botnet. Although it was not a very, very serious bot, it didn't affected a lot of PCs or not a lot of devices. It's an IoT bot which affected around 14,000 devices. The bot name is HNS, or hide and seek. The name is because it appeared on 10th of January, disappeared, and re-emerged on 20th of January. So hide and seek. So that's how the bot is named. And so how does it work? It basically goes up and scans the internet randomly for 4 interesting ports. If you notice, all of these are unencrypted ports. Port 23 for telnet, 80 for web, and 2323 and 8080. So these are a few ports which some of the IoT devices run their telnet server or web server on the alternative port rather than the primary port. So this botnet went ahead, scanned those ports, and if there was a positive response from there, it tried doing the brute force attack onto that server or onto that IoT device. Now, wherever they were successful, they had access to the device, and the good news is this bot was not able to achieve persistence, and with the reboot it will clean the whole compromised IoT device. Things to learn here are before connecting to internet, have you changed the password of the IoT device? And once you change the password, are you using one of those standard brute forceable or dictionary attackable passwords, which are like 1 2 3 4 5 6 or dog name or girlfriend name or something like that? So make sure that you have stronger password and you have configured the password before you enable the device and connect it to internet, and because these kind of bots will keep coming. This is just a small example. Moving ahead, around 40,000 OnePlus mobile users were impacted by the credit card breach, where a malicious code was injected onto the OnePlus website. If you know OnePlus, they are smartphone makers. They make pretty good devices, and so whoever logged onto the website from mid of November till 11th of January, their credit card data was breached, and when the breach disclosure happened, it came out to be somewhere around 40,000 customers. So something important here, which I would like to tell and advise, is whenever you go to these websites which require your credit card and you are trying to do it as a one-off exercise, it's not like a regular subscription payments kind of stuff. What I would advise, go and check out your net banking. All the more popular net banking platforms in the country have this feature of creating a virtual credit card or a temporary credit card or a net card. They have various names to that. But what you can do is you can create a credit card number, the expiry date, the CVV, everything with a limited set of features and restricted amount. So you have to give that money from your net banking account or from your debit account to into the credit card. So say if I want to spend $1 somewhere, I can go ahead and create a credit card of worth say 100 rupees and then use it. So in case there's a breach happening, that old credit card number or that temporary credit card number will be breached, and which is no longer active after one or two attempts or after one or two uses when you empty that card. In that case, all your breaches, all the breaches which are happening and leaking the credit card data, you'll still be safe, and your card number will not go, and your primary card which you want to use will be safe. This is available in all the banking platforms I've seen. So it's a must thing. It creates your virtual credit card and you can use your virtual credit card for all your activities. Little hassle to do that, but better safe than sorry. Try using that. Next news, moving ahead, Meltdown and Spectre issues which we discussed even last time. They're still not ready to go away. There's a lot of noise happening around that, and I think Linus Torvald also spoke about it, that it's causing the patches for Meltdown and Spectre are causing random reboot issues into servers, and the patches are patchy. So make sure you are very cautious when you're applying those patches anywhere, and maybe use defense in depth mechanism to stop the attack, reach the final processor which is vulnerable, and then once the stable patches are in, make sure that you have patched it. If you have faced any of such issue, I would like to talk about that on one-on-one. Let's have a discussion on that, that if you faced any such kind of issue of reboot or OS crashing after you installed Spectre or a Meltdown patch. Other interesting news includes malicious application on Android platform, the gaming apps and a few other apps which are like Facebook hacking app and all those credential stealing. It has been pretty active in last some days, and which I've seen in multiple news. I'm sure you are smart enough and you do not download unnecessary app and you do not give unnecessary permission, right? I hope you are one of those who are really smart from them. There was another news not related to India much, so I'll quickly cover it up. There was a malware which was stealing the gas from a gas station where a paying customer is using his card to dispense the gas into the car, and then there it used to steal some amount of gas out of it and then use it. So it's like petrol pump fraud thing. I'm sure Indians are very well aware of those various tricks the petrol pump guys do to steal your money or steal the oil from what you are going to get. Another very funny, interesting news. There was a news agency which went ahead and did an investigation against a message which was floating on WhatsApp. When I first saw this message, I was happy and I was like, funny to see. I'm sure you are there on those various WhatsApp groups, and you have those few WhatsApp friends who would love to send you good morning, good evening, good night, good morning, good evening, good night, and all those funny gifs and stuff. So someone creative made a message and made it viral on WhatsApp, saying that beware and do not send these good morning, good evening, good night messages, because these are coming in from adversary country, and it is used to steal your net banking passwords, and it is used to steal your credentials and banking information from your cell phone. The news itself sounds fake, but I'm happy that a lot of people took it seriously and stopped sending good morning, good evening message. So if you're one of those who sends those good morning, good evening messages to me or any of the group where I am, this is how I feel when I see a good morning, good evening message. Please don't send those. I accept your all good mornings from today onward, and I accept all your good nights from today onward. So it's heart to heart. Let's not spoil the whole, or let's not create noise on the WhatsApp environment with those funny little gifs coming in from this side, coming from that side. Okay, very good morning to you, and a cup of coffee and steam coming out of that. That's not needed. Heart to heart, good morning, good evening, done from today. So these guys, the news agency went ahead and identified and did a research around that, whether this is true or not. Obviously, this is a fake news, and even they came out with this final verdict that it's a fake news and it doesn't affect your cell phones and devices. But the important thing there is, please stop sending those good morning, good evening messages. That was created for fun by someone smart enough, and he was pretty serious in that. Okay, moving ahead, Firefox released a patch for its version 58, the new spanky, shiny version of Firefox. It's working pretty good, and the Firefox released a set of patches for it. It had some around 3 critical, 13 high, moderate, low severity security vulnerabilities, which included some of them were serious one, and the patch is out. Make sure that you have patched your browser. In Firefox, they have made it pretty easy that all you have to do is reboot or rather restart the Firefox application itself, and then it installs the patches. So make sure, if you're one of those who have your browser sessions, I'm not even talking about Firefox alone here, Firefox, Chrome, or all of these popular browsers. If you have hundreds of tabs open on it and you don't want to close those browser and the browser is on from long, make sure periodically you keep restarting your browser so that the new patches are installed. And it's an automated process. You don't have to do much around there, but it's a good hygiene to keep patching your browser. That browser becomes more interesting because that's the one which is on the front of the war, and it is handling a lot of websites and what malicious sites you visit. I'm sure you do not visit those malicious sites, right? But yeah, a lot of people do visit malicious site and they get infected by them. So that brings me to another interesting thing. I've been using this browser called as Brave browser. I heard about it a few years ago, and I thought I'll maybe add that into recommendation sometime to my friends. So this Brave browser is version of Chrome. It's rebuilt with Chrome as a background, and has a nice features. So some of my geek friends and operational security fan friends, they use Firefox with extensions like uBlock or NoScript, and then it's a tedious work. You have to learn through it and then configure your browsers with your browsing habits, that unnecessary fingerprinting methodologies and scripts are not executed on the web page you visit, so that you keep yourself safe. So with this Brave browser, that's a default feature where it does not allow the script to run, that does not allow fingerprinting mechanism. So all you have to do is just go into setting and just enable or disable it. And then with every tab you open, every site you go, there is an option of manually allowing the script to run on that particular web page and manually allowing the fingerprinting methodology to allow on that web page. So you would ask, what is this fingerprinting and what can it take away from my browser? So I've done an experiment to see what all is leaked out. So if you open up a regular browser from your cell phone and open up a website, it takes your IP address, which is well known, but it goes ahead, takes your screen resolution, your OS version, your browser version, the plugins you have installed on the browser, your LAN side IP. Getting the WAN IP is easy, and the default parameters in the web servers to capture that. But there are easily usable feature / bug in browsers using some trick where you can get the LAN IP of the user who's visiting. So if you're working from a home or corporate environment where you have a 192.168 range IP or a 172.16 or 17 range IP or a 10 range IP, that's generally not going on to the website where you visit. But with the fingerprint methodologies, there are ways of even capturing that and storing on the server. So if you're interested to know more about that, you can send me a mail. I'll show you a detailed description of that, or maybe someday we'll do a webcast of that as well, that what all things get leaked out in fingerprinting. So a few other things which get leaked out in fingerprinting is when you use it on a cell phone, it even knows the alpha, beta and gamma coordinates of your gyroscope. So it knows that which direction the phone is, what is the location of the phone, what is the accelerometer of the phone, and so all of these is capturable via a web browser. So it knows whether the phone is on desk or it's in your hand. So and the phone is pointing towards north or northeast or west or south. So all of that is captured via browser. So that's called as browser fingerprinting. And if that doesn't sound scary enough, let me tell you, a random site which you visit can actually check whether you are logged in to your Google account, to your Facebook account and stuff like that. So malicious scripts can be added there where you click something and you realize that, oh, I'm just clicking a link, wherein that one click is adding a one more like on their Facebook page. That's called as clickjacking, and that's doable. So with Brave browser, they have a feature of preventing this fingerprinting methodology and preventing the scripts on the site. The bad part of the web today is if you visit a website without the JavaScripts enabled, either the site won't work or it will look really, really shabby. So what I have done and would advise that as a practice, I've made web browser as my default browser. So the moment I click on a link and I'm not very sure, it opens up in Brave browser, but the scripts are not running. And then I know that, okay, this is a site where I want to visit and I want to open the web page, then I manually enable the scripts there and it works. So brave.org is the website. Go ahead, check it out, or simply Google for Brave browser. It's a very nice one. I had a discussion with the CTO of the Brave browser as well. They're doing a lot of interesting stuff, and maybe in future I will talk about that browser even more. So that's a recommendation or an advice from my side for digital hygiene or safe browsing. So that brings me to the end of this episode. See you again next week. Goes without saying, please comment, share, send your reviews, send your questions to me. Unfortunately, because of the tight schedule, I was not able to look at the questions which were sent this week. So maybe I'll include it in the next week. So that's it from my side. Goodbye from Bangkok. See you next week. Thank you.